It came down really to two things. One was to speak on Palestine and what's going on there. But that happens to be the topic of lectures I'll be giving this evening at Boston University and tomorrow evening at Northeastern University. And this evening will actually be a special occasion because I will be speaking with my old friend, who's also now my co-author, Mouin Rabbani, who I think is probably the shrewdest analyst of Palestinian politics in the world today. He happened to have been invited on the same day as me to speak at Harvard, and so we're going to speak tonight at Northeastern on the modest and humble topic, which is the subject of a little book we're putting out together entitled How to Solve the Israel-Palestine Conflict. So since I'm already going to speak on that, then by process of elimination and also by good fortune, I'm going to end up speaking on the Mahatma, Mr. Gandhi. I'm right now finishing up a pamphlet on Gandhi as it relates to the Occupy movement around the world. And if I weren't convinced that that were the right topic to speak on, as I walked into the park, I saw the statue of the Mahatma, and so the balance now weighed firmly in favor of speaking about him. A couple of years ago, when I was trying to make sense of how to finally end this interminable occupation, Israel's interminable occupation of the Palestinian territories, I decided that the wise thing to do would be to turn to Gandhi and to see what he had to say in the subject. Because after all, in many ways, the struggle that India confronted and the struggle that Gandhi led was not unlike the struggle that the Palestinians had to face. In the case of India,
turn it the other way.
In the case of India, they were facing the most formidable military and economic power of the time, and similarly, in the case of the Palestinians, they're facing a formidable regional power, but behind the formidable regional power, they're also facing the most formidable political and economic power of the time, namely the United States. And so, with that in mind, it seemed a reasonable path to look into Gandhi and see what lessons could be extracted from reading him. And as it happens, however it came to be, the movements that have now emerged, if not around the world, but in the United States, they have appropriated as their metaphor the idea of occupy and ending. Well, in this case, it's not so much ending an occupation, it's, if we can call it, occupying your own land. I'm not sure if it works perfectly, in perfect symmetry with Gandhi, but at least the idea of occupy is there, and so we can work with that and figure how to pursue it. So what is there to say about Gandhi? First of all, it's not easy to get a handle on Gandhi. Many people here will be surprised, I suppose, to learn that his collected works run to 100 volumes, and each of the 100 volumes runs to about 500 pages. Gandhi had a lot to say. In fact, it was not, however, in the form of books. He only wrote 2 tiny little volumes. One was a health guide, and the second one was it's a little book. Yeah, it's a little book, but it's actually quite interesting. It's called Hind Swaraj, Indian Independence, or Independence for India. And even though it was written, I think, my memory has it was around 1909, Gandhi swore by it for the rest of his life. It's a very eccentric little book, but it's also an interesting one. Gandhi marched to the beat of his own drummer, and he stood by his beliefs over the course of an entire political lifetime. So first of all, you're dealing with a fairly vast body of work. Secondly, Gandhi was not particularly interested in being consistent. He liked to quote Ralph Waldo Emerson, consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds. But there is a word that comes before consistency. Anyone know the exact quote?
Foolish.
What? Foolish. Thank you. Foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds. Meaning that when you try always to be consistent, you're in fact revealing the smallness of the mental universe that you occupy. And Gandhi firmly believed that, which is to say, he was always contradicting himself. Sometimes he denied it, and sometimes he said, I don't really care. All I care about, as he said, is I'm a practical idealist. I'm a man of action. All I care about is getting things done. And if I said one thing yesterday, and it worked yesterday, and if I say the complete opposite today, and it works today, then who cares really if or not I am being consistent? Well, obviously for those people who are trying to figure out a consistent logical theory from Gandhi, that poses a problem.